Freya would like to know, are God forms the same as invoking something? The simplest way to explain this is part of the technique that we use. We use the assumption of God forms. Like, for example, if you want to have the energies of Horus, you build up the energies of the image of Horus, or you need the images of Anubis. These are very useful, very, very useful, because there are times that you need the wisdom of Jehudi, or you need the power of Horus for some magical working or another. And it's not that you're worshiping these Egyptian gods. That's certainly not why they're here. These statues are here as conduits of spiritual force, of energy. And the whole point of assuming a god form is to bring a special quality of energy into yourself for a particular ritual that you then, at the end of the ritual, take it back off again. So it's not a question of worshiping Egyptian gods or Hebrew angels or anything like this. No, it's a question of technique. It is a spiritual technology. Remember, the Golden Dawn itself is not a religion. The Golden Dawn itself is a set of spiritual technologies. We use things like the assumption of God forms in order to empower ourselves with a certain quality of power or energy that we need for a specific intention. Are God forms the same as invoking something? What do you mean by invocation? That's the big question, because
if I may be so bold, I'd say she's probably coming at it from more of a pagan standpoint, where thinking of like drawing down the moon.
Okay, yeah. Is that what you meant? Okay, because look, if you're talking about Golden Dawn invocation, it's one answer, because we use the assumption of God forms as part of a larger invocation. But if you're talking about invocation like in the pagan sense, you may want to take that one instead.
Right. Invocation in the pagan sense is completely different. And you should not use pagan methodologies when doing the ceremonial magic. The pagan system has really, it's ceremonial magic that's really been stripped down to its bare essentials.
Well, and there's another problem.
The voodoo creep.
Yeah, the voodoo creep into Wicca.
Not a particular person when we say creep.
No, I'm talking about it creeping in. Voodoo creeping into Wicca, creating its whole subgenre of dark Wicca without them even realizing what they're up to.
Yeah, it's really
there's a huge difference between the assumption of a god form like we've been talking about, and the way you do it is you build up the image in front of you and then you step into it. You can also, if you're working with an Egyptian god form, you can use something from their ancient rites of Egypt, that you plenty of that stuff around in E.A. Budge and other books, so you can find that sort of stuff if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
This is something very different than what they do in voodoo. In voodoo, the voodoo practitioners are making themselves passive receptacles to be possessed. It's a form of voluntary possession, and it's extremely dangerous. And I do not recommend that you do it. And it is actually has been in our order prohibited by oath from the very beginning. I promise not to put myself into such a passive or mediumistic state so as to lose my power of will or something like that.
Right,
and that's exactly what happens to these voodoo practitioners being ridden by the Loa.
And the difference is, okay, if you think of your physical body as this glass, when you're being ridden by the Loa, what happens is your consciousness gets dumped out and the Loa consciousness comes in. Now, if you're doing the Golden Dawn style, what happens is you immerse yourself in the water. Do you see?
It's more like
rather than having something come into you, you go into it.
Instead of getting taken over by it, it's more like putting on a jacket.
Right.
It's like a vestment that you're putting on.
Right.
You are investing yourself with the energies of the God form, and afterwards you divest yourself again of the God form. And
that's why doing it the voodoo way is so dangerous.
And when you're in the Golden Dawn way, when you're assuming God forms, you as a magician are always in control. You are always present. Your ego is there. Your consciousness is there. You are always in control of the situation. You are the magician holding the right.
Anything happens
not the God
you decide.
Form moving you. No, that's not the way it's done. And unfortunately, because of this whole eclectic stuff that you find, all these books on Llewellyn and everything, and all of the nonsense about the black magicians talking a lot of smack about whatever. However it got there, you got voodoo creep in Wicca today. And that in the sense that there are so many covens out there that think drawing down the moon and this investment of the high priest and the priest and the priestess with the divine energies is something that should be like being ridden by the Loa. No, that's not what it is. That's a complete misunderstanding. And I know where it came from. It came from Aleister Crowley. That son of a bee. Again, there you go. I just struck me. It must come from him. That's how I got to Wicca. Because unfortunately, Gerald Gardner, he borrowed a lot of Golden Dawn magic for Wicca, but unfortunately, he didn't get a pure transmission.
Right.
He got it through Crowley, and Crowley was completely deviant.
Doreen Valiente did her best to scrub the Crowley shit stain off of Wicca, and she has done quite a good job of it. So there's not as much of it as there used to be, which is nice.
Yeah. So anyway, you don't want to do that. You don't want anything to do with voodoo. You don't want anything to do with any sort of Wiccan coven that thinks that drawing down the moon is like being like a voodoo ritual being ridden by the Loa. You want nothing to do with that. These are black magical practices that are extremely dangerous and have absolutely no business in Wicca either.
Right, because how many times have you heard of somebody needing to get depossessed? They go to an exorcist because they can't get whatever they invited in out.
Right.
Just don't invite them in. That's the simple solution. Why do some magical systems assign different directions and god names to the elements? All right. The reason why they do that is based on language. Why do the French say 4, 6, 5 and we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's linguistically based, and it's also based on the energies of the area. For example, on the East Coast witches, especially ones in Virginia Beach, kind of have a hard time associating water with the West, seeing as how the Atlantic Ocean is to the east of them. And so many of the traditional practitioners there will move things around in order to put the magical system they're working in alignment with the natural world that they see, because they're doing natural magic, and those are the rules for natural magic. You can't, if you're doing natural magic, and there's a lake in the north and a mountain to the south, you're not going to put water in the west and earth in the north. It doesn't make sense for where you are. Now, this is how Golden Dawn magic is different, because it's working with different, rather than working with the energies of mountains and rivers and streams and fields, you're working with planets and constellations and elements. And you see how that dislocates you from the physical three-dimensional natural world and puts you at a different level of magical manipulation of natural forces.
Exactly. Have you ever wanted to gain real magical abilities so you can become the master of your destiny?
Do you wish you could get the ancient secret key for free so you can build the life of your dreams?
If you've wanted more out of life, to become all that you can be, physically, romantically, financially, spiritually, then you need to take action and get this right now.
That's right, and for free, but it won't be available for much longer.
So go right now to thescienceofmiracles.com and get started. Achieve the prosperous life you want for yourself. Gain ultimate life mastery.
Are you familiar with the Rosencrantz with what's his name? He's popular in the States. He's the president or the from the Golden Dawn. What's his name?
Oh.
David Griffin.
Have David Griffin.
I saw an email yesterday that he sent out about, there's a magical war going on.
Demons of the infernal realm.
There is really a magical work going on. There is a guy called David Griffin who is heading all these magicians.
David Griffin is S.L. McGregor Mather's present successor.
David Griffin.
David Griffin.
David Griffin.
David Griffin.
I'm Golden Dawn Imperator David Griffin.
David Griffin.
David Griffin.
David Griffin.
David Griffin.
You know, there's a magical war going on.
So there is really a magical work going on.
Good morning. Welcome to Column Hinge at Alpha Omega Mystery School. We're located halfway between Death Valley and Las Vegas, halfway between Joshua Tree and Area 51 in the Mojave Desert of the Southwest United States.
Happy May Day, everybody.
Happy Beltane, everyone.
Oh, today is, let's see, Thursday?
Friday.
Friday. Oh, wow. Yeah, today is Friday, May 1st, 2020. The ancient magic ritual you're about to experience is unique in the world. Written and performed from the first-person perspective of Jesus of Nazareth, this ritual comes from the first book of Iao, contained in the Bruce Codex, an ancient Christian manuscript rediscovered beneath the sands of Egypt in 1769 that purports to contain the secret teachings of Jesus to his disciples. I'm Bishop David Griffin.
I'm Reverend High Priestess Leslie McQuaid.
And this is the lost magic of Jesus Revival. We're just moments away from sunrise.
There it is. The sun is the dispenser of light to the earth. May the living light of the God Force inflame our souls with abundant life.
Our destiny lies amongst the stars, and to the stars humanity shall ascend.
Take a nice deep breath and feel into your body. Breathe deeply. Throw your shoulders back, open your mouth, really breathe in as much as you can. Feel how your rib cage expands. Feel the little tingles that rush up and down your skin as you begin breathing deeply and focusing in on your physical body. And as you are breathing deeply and feeling deeply into each and every part of yourself, visualize yourself as the tree of life, however it is you imagine that tree to be, and grow your branches up high into alpha sky. Drive your roots down deep into Omega Earth. I call on you in the east, Alpha. I call on you in the west, Omega. I call on you in the north, Alpha. I call on you in the south, Omega.
Alpha,
Et Omega.
the beginning,
And the end.
the path of the age between. Sunrise,
And sunset.
the path of the age between. Birth,
And death.
and the path of life between. Alpha,
Omega.
Once again, we gather here at Column Hinge. And as you notice, Leslie has the hinge today all dressed up for the festivities. And reaching out with the energy of our energetic bodies, we reconnect with the invisible God force energy all around us. And reconnecting with this divine life energy, we reach out to the angels in the invisible and call on them. Na na ya. Na ya. Aiza. Aiza. Ayo. Ayo. And there are 12 heads in his treasury, and these are the names that are in the places. When they sing praises to my Father, and he gives light power to them. O mighty angel, head in the place of the east, we invoke you. Ae Zaita. Ae Zaita. El Mozaz. El Mozaz. Ozezei. Ozezei. Zezas. Zezas. Zozaya. Zozaya. Ozoaze. Ozoaze. Zeomae. Zeomae. Azozaya. Azozaya. Zezei. Zezei. Zezas. Zezas. Sorry. This should be Azai. Azai. Eaza. Eaza. Zoaza. Zoaza. And so we completed our journey through the places, invoking each mighty king head in its proper place, until at length we came into the place of the midst, the place of the center, the place of the Father of the treasury of light. O Father of the treasury of light, by your cipher and by your name, we invoke you. Ayeza. Ayeza. Let the divine light descend. May the watchers withdraw and grant us entry into the innermost of the innermost. So today, once again, it is our fervent prayer and our magical intention, as it is every single day, to establish human freedom worldwide.
Human freedom worldwide.
Set our people free.
Set our people free.
Restore the purity of our air.
Restore the purity of our air.
Of our water.
Restore the purity of our water.
Of our food.
Restore the purity of our food.
And our medicines.
Restore the purity of our medicines.
May all those who search for the abundant life promised by the living Jesus come to understand the ways of the God force and learn to fill their soul to overflowing with this living light. And then in that hour when death comes calling, may we shed this physical body like a serpent sheds his skin and rise triumphant into the kingdom of light. Protect Homo sapiens from extinction.
Protect Homo sapiens from extinction.
Protect the integrity of our genetic code.
Protect the integrity of Homo sapiens' genetic code.
And now, wherever you may be, whatever your need may be, ask for a miracle in pure faith, expecting a miracle, and it shall be granted to you. All these things we ask in the name of the living Jesus. Amen.
Amen. So mote it be. Take a moment now to again feel into your body. This ancient magical rite we are doing together helps you experience more God Force energy. God Force energy helps you be the best person you can possibly be. Because God Force energy fills in all those parts of yourself that you think are missing and washes away clean all those parts you think are dirty. God Force energy has the capacity to work miracles. And by that, anything can happen. Look into your life. What is it about your life that you would like to improve? Well, if you'd like to improve the past, that's possible too, because God Force energy has the capacity to work miracles. All you need to do is breathe in God Force energy and trust the energy to do what you want it to do. Your consciousness is incredibly powerful. What you think becomes reality. Maybe not immediately, but certainly for you immediately. The minute you have a thought, that affects your reality. Be conscious of your thoughts. Think before you act very carefully. And in fact, breathe into the God Force. Because when you breathe into the God Force, it's like having an advisor there at your shoulder every minute of every day. All you need do when an important question arises, when an important situation is in front of you, breathe deeply into the God Force, and there you will find solutions and answers. So today, as you go through your day, breathing in God Force energy, remember when the time comes and that question is asked of you, be calm, take your time. Take a nice deep breath of God Force, and then breathe out your answer. And whatever that answer is, it will be absolutely perfect for the situation. Absolutely perfect for what you need to do next. Because God Force itself is infallible. God Force itself is trustworthy. And when you are a clean and pure vessel, so too your projection of God Force into this world becomes pure. So as you breathe in God Force energy, Remember to shine that energy on all those around you, and no question will ever be too much for you to answer.
Thank you so much for joining us here for the opening of the Treasury of Light once again this morning on this beautiful May Day celebration. Those of you who might be here for the first time, be sure to come back tomorrow. We'll be here each and every day at sunrise working for human freedom worldwide. The best way to join this cause is to join us here daily, whether at our live stream or any of our restreams every hour on the hour, and vibrate the names of power, the Voces Magicae, along with us. If you'd like to know more about where this ritual comes from, or the rest of the lost magic of Jesus, including the 3 secret baptisms the living Jesus communicated to his disciples beyond the baptism of water of John the Baptist, be sure to visit our website at alphaomega.church. While you're there, be sure to download our free ebook, Was Jesus Secretly a Magician? The 3 Lost Baptisms of Christ. You can get that now today, still for free. That is, once again, at alphaomega.church. Thanks so much for coming out, and as always, have faith and expect a miracle.
And until we have the pleasure of each other's company again, may the God force run strong within you. And, as always, may your magics work better than expected.